Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here today, driving home from work, trying to start the video. Kept on taking pictures of myself like some sort of doofus. Didn't have it on the right setting, but here we go. I can honestly tell you, I, for one, was kind of a little bit negative on Saturday night's main event. Coming back for WWE, the run of Saturday night's main event and the I guess you can say like the ruthless aggression era, I guess is when it took place with Cena, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Vince and Shane. I don't have a lot of great memories of that run, but there was really some really big matches. I honestly just remember a lot of the bad press that came with WWE being on NBC. I really felt like WWE, as well as wrestling, went through a pop culture boom during like the mid to late 2010s to 2020s. I'll tell you this much: like when I go to the mall, I don't really see wrestling T-shirts there anymore. I can remember when really like Pro Wrestling Tees, the Bullet Club, took over Hot Topic, where basically they had every T-shirt from the Elite in stock at the store, and it's really not like that anymore. I think last time I went, there was a Cody shirt, there was a CM Punk shirt, and that was it. Every once in a while, you might see a retro, like, DX shirt in there, but it's nowhere what it once was. I don't know if that's because maybe it's not as big as it once was, but, I remember that feeling of going to, like, WrestleMania and, like, being in that town and, like, you weren't, like, looked at as a wrestling fan for 1 week because of the fact everybody invading that city was a wrestling fan and you were normal for once. But I'm geeked. I'm excited. Whatever this special thing that Triple H gave to Cody Rhodes, we're just going to imagine that it's the Winged Eagle. The 80s WWF Championship that was held by Hulk Hogan. It was held by Ted DiBiase and Andre the Giant for a minute. The Macho Man Randy Savage, Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin had it for a hot minute. Shawn Michaels, Psycho Sid, Diesel. That was a great era. It almost, the title itself covered 2 eras of wrestling. I think it covered like the golden 80s era as well as the new generation. So there's 2 groups of people that grew up loving that belt. If Cody has that belt for one night, I think it's gonna be awesome. I think it's gonna be like a favor to Cody Rhodes, but I didn't really think there was a chance he was gonna lose the match. If he comes out with that title and he's defending it, he sure the hell ain't losing it. He's coming out with it, he's going to be defending it, and he's going to be holding it up after the show for the pictures, as well as the 8x10s that they're going to sell for years and years of him holding that championship up. So to me, it just sort of locks that out. But I have so many memories of watching Saturday night's main event. So many times I found the show on by accident. So many times that I would beg my dad to record it for me on VHS and watch it back on Sunday because it was on after my bedtime. So many times that my parents surprised me when I didn't even know it was on, and they just were like, "Hey, you haven't asked, we got something for you," and they found it on accident, so they just knew to record it. It didn't matter if it was actually seeing Hulk Hogan wrestle in a match, because we didn't get to see that on, All American Wrestling, Wrestling Challenge, Wrestling Superstars. We were lucky if Hogan came out and did like a Brother Love show or just one of those green screen interviews. But to actually see him in a match, it didn't matter if it was against like Haku or anybody like that, because the way wrestling was really presented, or at least like we were a kid, so we were watching it with like these child eyes, it really felt like anybody on the roster could win the championship on any night. Anybody could beat anybody. I think when you go back and you watch 80s wrestling, you knew guys like, that guy's a jobber. He ain't winning this match. This guy is just, to have the first match of the night and just get somebody over. Now you can sort of see it, but as a kid, you didn't. But Saturday night's main event was more than just a wrestling special on TV. It was, I think that honestly, you can say that Saturday night's main event as a show meant more to the growth of professional wrestling than Raw did. I know that Raw has been on every Monday since the early 90s, but Saturday night's main event, it was basically a pay-per-view before pay-per-views. At one point, the era of WWF is that you had 4 pay-per-views. You had the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series before like the Attitude Era and like the In Your Houses, and then they like just every month had its own pay-per-view, I guess you can say, that it came out of that. When Saturday night's main event was on, it was a match that you needed to see. And I know a lot of matches kind of ended in disqualifications, or they almost came off as like they were like kind of squash matches. Seeing those guys in the ring at that time, that was a big match. And looking at this grid of Saturday night's main event matches that we're going to get on Saturday, whether if it's Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens, I think it was a very awesome thing that at the last pay-per-view, we didn't get a Cody Rhodes match. He wasn't on Survivor Series. He wasn't at War Games. He wasn't in the match fighting with the Bloodline. This is the match that kayfabe, he was training for and he was getting ready for, because he's defending the championship against Kevin Owens, and he doesn't want to lose the title because we're counting down the days until WrestleMania, and he's going to have to fight, hopefully, The Rock, if not whoever wins the Royal Rumble. I mean, it is what everybody is going to Las Vegas for. That's a really, really big match. You can sort of say that the women's Liv Morgan match, it's not that appealing. It's not Rhea Ripley. I think with anything involving, Liv Morgan, everybody is counting down to see Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley in some sort of a one-on-one encounter where Rhea can finally get her comeuppance, and we can get some sort of Rhea, I don't know if it's like ripping the pants off of Dominic Mysterio and revealing his like heart boxer shorts or something like that. She needs to find a way to just straight up embarrass Dominic to the point where we can finally, we're never going to close that chapter. We're always going to point at how they used to be a couple and how they ran everything from the Judgment Day. And he decided to go a different way for a hotter chick, debatably. But it is what it is. You got the Judgment Day, Finn Balor getting a title shot against Gunther. And now Damian Priest is going to be there as well. That's a really, really big match. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be an awesome special. Hopefully you guys make sure you go out of your way to check this out, because as far as I know, even here on the West Coast, it's going to be shown live at 5. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, NBC. They're treating this like it's a Super Bowl, like it's a football game, an NBA Finals basketball game. Live means live. No live to tape where people are talking about this 3 hours before other people get to see it. This is going to be a big deal.